Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page. Tonight's movie is Jess Franco's Kiss Me Monster from 1969. Jess Franco, man, you look at all the pinnacle years where Jess Franco made multiple films, and guess what, folks? There were many years where he made multiple films. Basically, he was making multiple films per year many times. This man did not do a film a year. He might have done that like in his last couple years, but this guy was took prolific to a whole nother realm. Kiss Me Monster is part of the Red Lips double feature put out by Blue Underground. And this was put out in 2006, and it's still in print and a great budget DVD set. There are two DVDs in here, Undercover Angel. Two Undercover Angels, and Kiss Me Monster. There's already a review up that I did for the first one, Two Undercover Angels, and tonight's is Kiss Me Monster. Now, these two films, um, they are well. Kiss Me Monster is kind of a sequel to Two Undercover Angels, but it stands alone on its own as well. You don't necessarily need to know everything about what happened in the first film, really, at all. It's basically another story with the two leads, so it's not something that's continuing on from the first one, except that we have two two ladies who are basically out as spies, as agents who go out and uncover mysteries and injustices in the 60s world. Now, what makes things even more interesting, folks, is that Kiss Me Monster was made in the same year. It's from the same year as the first film, Two Undercover Angels. How many films do you know out there today that have kind of have two films kind of have a sequel that were done in the same year? Yes, from Jess Franco there was. Kiss Me Monster follows the exploits of the two leads, Janine Renard and Rosanna Yanni, the one girl's from Succubus, from Jess Franco, also known as Necronomicon, and the other woman is from Count Dracula's Great Love. These two women work really well together, and in the first film, Two Undercover Angels deals with one mystery, and this film, Kiss Me Monster, deals with another mystery. It's in this film that we do see a continuation of just a bizarre, insane storyline, and there's a heavy storyline here that kind of goes into a lot of like dead ends and weird realms. It's just there's so much to say, like with every Jess Franco film. Um, but there are so many weird twists and turns, and yes, there are lots of types of twists here again. This is a film from 1969, and it really doesn't feel like it's from the late 60s. It really feels like the 60s. It feels like a 60s television show. It feels like a 60s Mad Caper type of film. Tons of 60s style in here, with the clothing, with the environments, with the music. If we take the score first, the music in this film is heavy duty, jazzy 60s rock type music. It's very peppy, it's very on your feet. There's a driven pace to the music that really drives the pace of this film, which is like bouncy and all over the place and quick. Um, and then there are other sections of the score that are very suspenseful and weird and have weird synthesizer type of tones to it to reflect the weirdness of the movie and of the storyline. And it gets a bit dark at times as well, the score. Jess Franco's filming style here, you know, it's you can see it even more in Kiss Me Monster than in Two Undercover Angels, but you definitely know it's Jess Franco, but it's Jess Franco, it's early Jess Franco from 1969, kind of hinting at things that would be to come. You see Jess Franco zooming in on women's breasts or on their legs a lot, and lots of women are barefoot in this film, and there's lots of folded legs as they're sitting on the ground and their legs are folded up, and you see Jess Franco really kind of oogling the women, but there's no full nudity in this film. There's a bit of toplessness, but it's mostly a sensuality and a sexuality that it pervades in the film and in the storyline that Jess Franco is oogling on and really zooming in on and looking at, something that would reflect the years to come, predominantly in the 70s, 80s, and beyond, where the camera would focus even more explicitly with more explicit sexuality in his films to come. But this film has women in their underwear and very revealing dresses and revealing outfits and bras and you know you'll see there's some toplessness even though it's quick, and there's a sensuality, and like I said before, bare feet, folded legs, short skirts. In this film you will see some of the same characters, not just the two leads, but some of the same characters from the first film in this series, Two Undercover Angels, playing different roles. These are people that were killed in the first film, and they're back in here in this sequel of sorts, another story, and they're playing completely different characters. So that just gives you an idea of the way Jess Franco does a second film in a series of films, right? Jess Franco is also in this film, even though he's playing a totally different person in this film. He plays a much more suave character in Kiss Me Monster, and he really has just a great vibe about him. I always love Jess Franco acting in his films. He always plays interesting characters, crazy characters, suave characters, just really, really interesting characters. To go back to the music in this film, this is another one of Jess Franco's films where characters in the film are actually playing musical instruments, and that music is being reflected in the story. And in this particular film, you have people playing guitars and weird stringed instruments that are kind of playing a song that is integral to the storyline, to the mysterious storyline of this film. Jess Franco is, you get to see a little bit of the outside of the quarters of these two girls, where they live, this large stone 60s wealthy type of that kind of tall cylinder mansion type of thing. You know, it's you get to see the outside of it more in Kiss Me Monster, I believe, than in Two Undercover Angels, and it's really unbelievable. But these girls are traveling a lot more in this film, and you'll get to see, you know, these bizarre locations, kind of like this abandoned town type of vibe, an abandoned western town, but it's not. It's like it's Caribbean at the same time with palm trees and everything. And you kind of get the vibe. It almost reminds me of let's you know of a lot of films like where there's a mysterious town of people who are in on something, and that's where that song comes in. And this film incorporates a lot of very bizarre storylines, like a cult of people with KKK, but black KKK outfits, and weird passwords, and secret passageways, and windmills that are compasses, and whistles that have feet on them. It's like, and lesbian women who have a monkey and a cage, and there's definitely more sadism in Kiss Me Monster than also Two Undercover Angels. But of course, I mean, it's very low level stuff here, in comparison to where Jess Franco would go. But there's whipping, and there's women with their hands tied up at top, and there's some whipping there. You also have cloned people, almost reminding me of like Dr. Satan a little bit from House of a Thousand Corpses in terms of like medical biological experiments. You even have some blood in this film. You even have some stabbing in this film, and you even have a close-up, quick gore shot in this film that just shocked me. I was not prepared for that whatsoever. Um, in this film, you have the ladies kind of going into all of these dead ends, and there's bizarre drugs, and there's bizarre, blackouts, and there's bizarre characters at every turn in here, and there's fake outs and twists and turns, like I said, and there's one wild jazzy nightclub scene in this film where the camera is crazy and the music is high energy, jazzy 60s awesomeness, and there's cuts and turns and twists in this jazzy dance scene. People are dancing wildly here, and you even have a woman with a ripped up outfit that was from the first film, Two Undercover Angels, as well. It's kind of cut in this section, and it's almost hard to see if it was stock footage, but it wasn't. I mean, just the way it was cut, it was so wild. Um, so there was that there where you really see Jess Franco, and you also see Jess Franco wild title sequence in this film. Kiss Me Monster has a wild title sequence that actually goes from black and white to color, and I love the font and the of Kiss Me Monster, and then the way that they use it, and the way that they freeze frame. And he even does some wild editing in this film where characters in different rooms are saying the same thing, and it's cutting back and forth, and they're kind of repeating each other. I gotta tell you, this film, you got the two girls solving mysteries, 60 style. I was gonna say 69 style, but you know what I mean. This is the stuff that Austin Powers was spoofing in a lot of regards, but this is just Franco style. So it's bizarre and it's weird. And if, Two Undercover Angels dealt with a horror artist, Kiss Me Monster deals with a weird town and a cult and bizarre medical experiments and weird nutrition thing that does things. I don't want to give away too much. Listen, Kiss Me Monster is another film in this, rounding out the series from the Red Lips double feature here. The two girls are awesome. They're a little bit sexier in this second film here, Kiss Me Monster, and they're wild. I mean, you have some characters from the first film that are the same people, and you have some characters from the first film that are not. They're not playing the same people at all. So it's just a wild experience. This is, if you like what you've heard here, then this is the film for you. 1969 from the Red Lips double feature. This is Kiss Me Monster, the second film in the series, and the last film in the series, I believe, with these two girls. This is, a wild, mad 1960s spy caper type of film that is just filled with the bizarre and the sexual, but at a much lower level of sexuality and violence. But the violence is still there, but it's just much lower. But it's bizarre and it's weird and it's wild and it's filled with music that's even part of the plot. Thank you so much for watching the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page. That was Jess Franco's 1969 Kiss Me Monster. It's part of the Red Lips double feature with Two Undercover Angels, put out by Blue Underground. I thought the transfer on the second one was actually better than the first one. Folks, check out my own films at youtube.com/poopydiarrhea, and check out my other reviews, including Two Undercover Angels and many other Jess Franco titles to come on this YouTube page. Good night.